Shalom, as my really good Jewish friend would say. Shalom, shalom, shalom to everyone. Hello, Nosy Bystanders. I know, even they're like, where you been? Sometimes being nosy requires taking a couple of breaks a couple of times, okay? Sometimes a nigga needs to rest, okay? Hold on 1 second. Sometimes a nigga needs to rest, all right? Dang. I can't be in y'all face all the time. Y'all gonna just get sick of me. Hello, Nosy Bystanders everywhere. Smash these like buttons. I appreciate y'all. Hold on again 1 second. My chapstick. That's right, I'm wearing booty shorts, okay? I'm in the house. I'm in the house, okay? So I'm wearing booty shorts. Congratulations. What I win? Hello, everybody in the building. Let me just see who's in here. We have Yvette, Happily Ever Jones, Angela, the real Rude. I think that's how you say it. What's up, Max? I always want to say your government name. I'm more. Is it Manifestation? Anissa, hello, and Andy. Everybody's in the building. Let's see who we have over here on YouTube. Tracy and Stephanie. We have Binky as always. Where's Wu Child, our only moderator? Because it's ghetto, honey, and we work her like a mule. We work Wu Child like a mule, honey. We work Wu Child like a mule. Let's see who we got over here on the Lean app, formerly known as Voices. Voices hates me, so I never can see who's in the building. Let me see who's in the building. We have Sierra and Loretta. Is it? I don't know how to pronounce it, but I'm gonna just call you Obear. Andrea, Bernicia, as we all know. Hello, Leola, Eamon, who dat? What you doing, who dat? Shay, Rich Homie Trina, as always, always in the building. Okay, so we have an interesting show tonight. More ads. I know. I was reading the comments. If you guys don't think I read these comments, you're crazy. Someone said I have more ads than YouTube. Well, people feel like this is a good platform to showcase their businesses, okay? I just so happen to have a really good speaking voice. What's up, MI and Margaret and Shay? How you guys doing? And Nidra Scott and Mrs. Wright. Are you married, Mrs. Wright? Hello, Candide. Hello, how you doing? Candy, you've never been over here before. Welcome to the live show. So we have an interesting show today. We do have sponsors, so we have to get, we got to have our commercial breaks now. Let's not get ghetto, okay? What's up, On Handsome? How you been? Let's not get ghetto. We got to have commercial breaks, honey. Got to have commercial. There's only a handful of stories I want to talk about, so I'm not going to keep you guys long, but I will keep you for a little bit of time because since we do have commercial breaks, you have to listen to them because they paid me. They paid me, all right? You got to listen to the commercial breaks. Now, let me get everything set up because I wanted to talk about the story that was buzzing all weekend, and it happened to be Saucy Santana. Now, remember, last week when we talked about Saucy Santana, we talked about those tweets. And it's funny enough, I made a joke. And I'm going to repeat the joke because the joke was actually used slanderously against me on Twitter, which I found hilarious. So last week we talked about some 2014 tweets that were dug up about Saucy Santana. And people found them disrespectful because they were against Blue Ivy. And I'm not going to really go over those tweets again, but he was basically said in a number of tweets that Blue Ivy's hair is nappy, quote unquote. He also said that Blue Ivy can't hold a candle to Northwest. And at the time, I don't know if you guys know this, but those little girls are roughly the same age. And he told Blue Ivy, and I quote, have several car seats. Well, when those tweets came up, it was because Saucy Santana was performing in Houston and people thought it was a bit disrespectful to Beyonce being the queen of Houston. I'm just saying, it's a bit disrespectful, okay? And you know the Beehive don't play. Well, Saucy Santana this weekend had a show, and I'm not entirely sure if it was in Houston or not, but he did make a number of off-putting statements that individuals thought were questionable. Now, mind you, it is still Pride Month, so he is celebrating, as he should, in Pride. But the statements that he made were very staunchly against a lot of people who support his content and his music, which are females. In a number of statements he stayed on live stage, he stated that um, basically women can't do things better than the gays, according to him, and that women wouldn't get their hair done without the gays, and that women were so dissatisfied with rap music that they required a gay. This is just me spitballing here, but that's really the gist of what he said. So, of course, Black Twitter did not take that sitting down. Thank you very much, you guys, for the congratulations. Did not take that sitting down. Because again, for some strange reason, there's always this combativeness between Black females and Black gay males. And I've never understood what the whole beef was. I do get the understanding behind the beef, but I never quite understood where the beef came from and what the beef was for. Like, why are gay Black men and Black women constantly having this headbutt? We're discussing Saucy Santana. So I've never understood what that was from. Now, I don't know if those statements that were made by Saucy Santana, basically stating that Black women wouldn't be anywhere without Black gay hairstylists, Black women lean on Black gay men for emotional support when they're, according to Saucy Santana, when men ain't acting right. And Black women were so dissatisfied with rap music that they lean on Black gay male rappers to basically fill in the gaps for the dissatisfied, rap selection that we currently have. I'm just here to report the news, okay? I'm not the news, I just report on it. Now, I don't know if Saucy Santana has an axe to grind with Black women, but as of late, he's starting to sound like he does. And now, mind you, one of his best friends is Carisha. If you don't know who Carisha is, she's a member of the City Girls. She goes by the name of Young Miami. So I don't know if he has this affliction for Black women. I don't know. I'm not a clinical psychologist, and I don't pretend to be one. But I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know. And I don't even know if it's anything. I don't know if it was just something he said off cuff, if it's something he's been thinking about deep-seatedly, or if it just made for really good entertainment. If I had to guess, hello, Annie. If I had to guess, it makes for really good entertainment. I do love Saucy, just Negro. I love Saucy. And I do. I love him. I love the quotes that he comes out with. I love his style. I love his aesthetic. I even love watching him and Carisha when they go live on Instagram and they're just being candid and normal. There was a really good live video that they did a number of years back, and Saucy was basically saying that when he hits a certain age, he wants to get married and have children. Carisha asked him, well, why would you do that? He said, because I just feel like if it doesn't work out as being gay, I can try like basically being a heterosexual, which I thought was hilarious. So like if I'm not married and having a child on the way as a very much gay man, I'm going to just try heterosexuality. To me, that's hilarious, right? It doesn't work out. And we say the same thing as women. Well, if it doesn't work out, I'll just be gay. So they're very candid with each other, and I like that. But I'm not entirely sure as to, thank you, Holly. I'm not entirely sure what it is. Maybe he was upset that those tweets were brought up. Maybe Saucy was upset that people wanted him to apologize to Blue Ivy. Maybe he didn't get that Grammy. I don't know. Okay. Who is Saucy? He's a rapper. He goes by the name of Saucy Santana. So let me read some of your comments. Okay. What's up, FaceTime? Says, I think he did it for entertainment and got a little carried away. I totally agree. This is from Taurus Season on YouTube. It says, who would go on such a rant about Black women and Black women as his fan base? Awkward. Totally agree. Let me hear what they have to say on the Leam app. Oh, treat all your babies cute. Um, from Eamon says, Saucy Santana is a different dude. Shaking my head. I don't know Saucy Santana's pronouns, but I imagine he doesn't like being, I imagine he doesn't call himself a dude, but I love that. He is. So I don't know what's going on with Saucy. I'm not entirely sure what's going on with Saucy Santana. All we can do is just speculate that maybe he just had an axe to grind for people forcing him to apologize to Blue Ivy. And I think that show was in Houston, but correct me if I'm wrong, anybody in the audience, correct me if I'm wrong. But I think that show was in Houston. What do you say about Blue Ivy? Great question, Dior. He said in tweets from 2014 that Blue Ivy's hair was quote unquote nappy, and that Blue Ivy doesn't hold a candle to Northwest, and that Blue Ivy, quote unquote, should have several car seats. Those are the tweets. So yeah. And it's just what's up, Woo Child? I see you in the building. So those are just interesting takes. I don't know. Saucy Santana's been on the news lately, so we're gonna talk about it because why not? Also, it's not that I don't have clean cups. I just grabbed this one. It's not a cup, but it's water, and I feel hydrated. There's another story I want to talk about. There's another story I want to talk about. Any final thoughts on Saucy Santana? Most of you are like, we don't give a shit. But let me take a step back really quickly before I move on to this next story. And I want to talk about the sound bite that was used against me and so we're going to discuss it. So I was combing through Twitter, which I rarely do. I was combing through Twitter, and someone actually took a sound bite from me, myself, discussing Saucy Santana a number of weeks ago. The soundbite stated, Flint doesn't have clean water, but who gives a fuck? Where's Saucy Santana's tweets? And so I think the individual, the burner account, attempting to chop and screw up that entire soundbite made it out to believe that I didn't care about that Flint doesn't have clean water. That's the statement. That's the statement. Because it's funny, right? It's funny. Obviously taken out of context. Great question. This is from Chief Sosa. Says, do you think he sabotaged an opportunity with Beyonce from what he did? I love that question. If I had to take a wild guess, I would say yes. Beyonce, in now this is just my personal opinion. I'm not a part of the Beehive, and I don't pretend to be. And I'm sure there's a lot of Beehivers in here. Don't come for me. Smash the like button everywhere. Beyonce doesn't seem like the type of person who is hurting for features. Does that make sense? She seems like very selective, and she seems like she works on her own time. Right? If Beyonce didn't want to do music for 10 years, she could so do it. So I don't think she's hurting to get a feature on a song. And that's okay. She has every right to. So I don't think that if she were to just kind of write off Saucy Santana, I don't think that would affect Beyonce by any shape of the imagination. But at the same time, though, we also have to remember, although Beyonce is the queen of what she does, at the same time, you guys, she still has to remain relevant. She does, whether the Beehive believes that or not. Beyonce has to maintain relevance, which means doing collaborations with a lot of younger artists. So there are plenty of young artists Beyonce could work with, but currently right now, and probably over the next 5 years, Saucy Santana's career is going to do this. I don't know, you guys may not like him or not, but he does have a really strong trajectory in his career. And so artists, the higher that an artist gets, you can't start turning your back on all of them, because then you are labeled as problematic and hard to work with. And Beyonce can even get that at her stage in the game. Do you understand what I mean? So she doesn't want to come off as like, oh, Beyonce won't work with anyone. People, you can't have that. It doesn't matter if you're Beyonce or Tina Turner or Paul McCartney. You can't have that image. Once you get that image labeled on you, it doesn't matter if you're a billionaire or not, the people will literally close the door on you and be like, well, you're hard to work with. So why would I send my artist to work with you when you can't even, you know what I mean? So you don't want that label even on you. So as prestigious as Beyonce is, she still is fighting every day to not get that label as standoffish, hard to work with, hard to get in contact with, unwilling to listen to new and budding artists, because it makes you come off as difficult and jealous. So even as Beyonce, you understand what I'm trying to say? You don't want that label regardless. Even if you're like, I'm a billionaire, I own this, I own this, I own this. People are like, yeah, but you're still hard to work with. So who the fuck want to work with you? What's $1 billion if you have no friends? What's $1 billion if you can't produce a record because you're so hard to work with? What's $1 billion going to do? It's not going to do anything. So I know he did talk about her child, but I digress. So I want to move on to this next story. So I did an interview with Antoine 360. I did an interview with Antoine 360. It was a great interview. Unfortunately, I am going to have to send you guys here in the Leam app and here on YouTube a link to watch the video. I'm going to have to send you a link to watch the video. You're not going to be able to get the video, but you will get the audio. And here on TikTok, you'll be able to watch the interview. Now, the interview airs on Antoine 360's live show, but I have a copy of the interview and I want to watch it together because it's a great interview. So give me one moment. Child, we're going to get to that. Yvette, we're going to get to that mystery child. Now, it's the first time I had heard of it, so that's why that's why I gave the reaction that I gave, because I had never heard of this person having a mystery child. So it was news to me too. It was very much news to me too. So give me 1 second. I'm going to pull the interview up now. If I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. I want to send you guys a link to it. Give me 1 second. I got to get the link first. So I did this interview with Antoine 360. We sat down for about 10 minutes. It's a 10-minute interview. It's a great interview. He asked me some really interesting questions. So we're going to watch it together. Okay. And the interview does air on his show right now, but don't worry, I got the interview. Okay. And before I play the interview, now that I have it up, and before I play the interview, I want to get a message from our sponsors. Our first commercial break. Let me pull it up. So your first commercial break from the Nosy Bystander happens to be Kiana Scott. So shop kianascott.com. She actually makes satin handmade bonnets in 5 colors. Those colors happen to be purple and gold, orange and cream, hot pink and light pink, mustard yellow, olive green. I've been saying this all week, so I feel like it's kind of rolling off the tongue. If you make a purchase of $50 or more, you can actually use Shop Pay for 4 interest payments. So check out the link in my bio, kianascott.com. Get your satin bonnets. I don't wear a bonnet because they make my forehead itch, but I know y'all do. So go ahead and shop at kianascott.com. Okay? And let's get into this interview. It's okay. So I want to get to the part where we were discussing that he hit me so hard with that because I had no idea where that was going to come from. But he had hit me so hard in that interview with that mystery question. I actually didn't even know what to do. So let me pull it up now. All right, here we go. All right. Now, YouTube and Leam app, you're going to be able to hear the interview, but you're not going to be able to watch it. I'll send you a link to the interview. And unfortunately, I wish you guys could. I wish you guys could listen to the interview. I wish you could watch the interview, but I guess it really doesn't matter. So long as like you can hear it. Does that make sense? Okay. Here we go. And then here on TikTok, you'll be able to fully watch it. And let me get to the comment section before we hit play, because I want to hear what you guys have to say. You said, who are we talking about? We're talking about an interview that I did with Antoine 360. You can actually check him out at Antoine Green on Facebook. He hosts a live show, I believe, every night. And tonight he's airing a live show with my live video that we did an interview. We actually sat down and did an interview. Okay. So give me one moment. I'm pulling the interview up. Okay. And then let me get the link for you guys here on the Voices app and the Leam app. So I'm pretty excited about it. I also, too, let me add this. I also got an additional interview. Somebody actually reached out to me and asked me if I could do an interview for their podcast. Now, they watched the Wendy Williams series. And if you haven't checked it out, please, I encourage you to check it out. They watched the Wendy Williams series, and I believe they had a uncle who had went through an issue with guardianship issues, and he had guardianship issues, and so this is what propelled this individual to start a nonprofit for their uncle, who was basically bastardized by the guardianship process. And so they started a podcast, and they watched the Wendy Williams series, and they wanted to interview me. So I will be on this podcast. I haven't set up the dates exactly, but we're going to get to those, and we're going to discuss that. I don't know a whole lot about guardianships. I just know what I talked about in the Wendy Williams series, but I'm more than welcome to discuss guardianships with somebody who watched the series. So here on TikTok, I sent you guys the link on one second, on the Leam app, and I sent it to you on YouTube, and now here on TikTok, we'll be able to watch it, and everyone else will be able to hear it. So let me turn the camera around, and then you guys, we're going to prepare. So here's the interview. All right. 1 second. And then you're going to be able to hear it. It's a great interview. I watched it a few times. I actually sent it to my dad. He's like, oh my gosh, is that an interview? What are you interviewing for us? I can explain it to him. He's too old to explain it. All right, here we go.
Joining us now is a very special guest. She's been following a very mysterious story when it comes to the Jakes family, the daughter to be exact, Cora Jakes. Joining us from TikTok is my girl, Stephanie Hall. Stephanie, welcome.
Hello. Hello, Antoine. Thank you again for having me on your show.
Thank you for being here. It is time for the inside scoop. And Stephanie, they tell me you've got the dish. What is going on with this Cora? What is going on?
Okay, well, so, just to preface this very simply, right? The story was brought to me just from being nosy, right? Like, I saw the story, I did a little bit of digging, and at first, I just thought it was just a simple anomaly until I kept digging. And by the time I finished digging, I ended up getting an interview with Michelle, the woman who was accusing Cora allegedly of snatching her baby, and a slew of other
individuals who have just been crawling out of the woodwork to just try and air their grievances with the Potter's house. So it starts off with this one story, and it ends up being this kind of like snowball effect into the misdeeds of, a simple Dallas church, right?
Now, have you been contacted by anyone from the Potter's house or anyone from the Jakes family? Has anyone tried to contact you like, Stephanie, what are you doing? Take this down. This is not true. What is happening?
Well, I have had a number of, burner accounts tweet me and message me on TikTok and say, you need to delete this. Fake emails from people saying, oh, I'm just looking out for your safety, but I think you should just delete all of this. And I'm just like, okay, thanks for the safety warning, but no. So no contact have I ever had from the Potter's house or any of the members of the Jake family. But I do get a lot of messages from burner accounts, fake emails telling me for my safety I should delete the series and move on.
Stephanie is just here to report the news. She don't want no smoke with nobody. She's just bringing us what she's allegedly finding out in these streets.
Yeah, that's right. I'm being objective, correct? Right? Like I have no ties or doings with the church,
right,
or the Dallas area. So I'm just simply trying to take in everyone's story and bring it to you guys, as it's being told by the individuals involved.
So right now, as it stands, it's being alleged that the kids that Cora currently have, she didn't obtain those kids ethically.
So it's the matter of ethics that is the reason behind this entire story, right? Coercion, duress, stress, pressure, cornering, literally cornering people. According to Michelle, she was actually backed into a corner and forced to sign over guardianship paperwork, which was just enough of a catalyst, allegedly, for Cora and her husband to be able to take that to court and be able to win a judgment. So it's the duress and the pressure that is being applied to these mothers, which is allowing Cora to even just put her foot into the courthouse. Wow. Right? You can't get to the courthouse without specific paperwork, and she starts off with guardianship.
Yeah, the pressure of it all. And speaking of this husband, what's going on with him, and where does he currently stand with all of his legal battles?
Well, currently he is incarcerated in Ellis County, Texas, on child SA charges. And while digging into that story, the first thing we do, we always believe the victim, right? Like that's the first thing you do, you believe the victim. And the second thing you do is you investigate. In the midst of his investigation, there's just too many anomalies to just turn away and pretend that they don't exist, right? Him entering into jail and then his Twitter being mysteriously deleted, right? You have to put the two and two together. What person sitting in jail is thinking about deleting Twitter? So it kind of makes you wonder who's on the back end trying to kind of basically erase this man from all of existence. The second thing that we find that was unusual, according to a source that I spoke to, is that he actually spent the day with his son, Jason, and then subsequently that night was arrested. So you also have to think if a person is being accused of a heinous crime of child sexual nature, what right parent will give them access to another child?
That child.
Right. So those are anomalies that we have to investigate.
Now, Stephanie, this is a side note. I just want to say hats off to you because you have done a hell of an investigation. So far, you're up to 12 parts on this series when it comes to the Jakes. But just put this in your notepad. There's this guy, a billionaire. We all love him. His name's Tyler Perry. He had a kid in 2014, Stephanie. We have yet to see this child. Can you figure out who this woman is that actually slept with Medea and had this baby? Can you do that for us? I'm a nosy bystander, Stephanie, please.
Oh, a child.
We are putting you up for all types of challenges. Speaking of being up for all these types of challenges, where does the shade room come in all of this, Stephanie?
Not the shade room, honey.
It's funny enough that you mentioned that, right? So when I would, again, it's very impossible for me to be able to read all my comments, but I can actually filter through my comments and just try to see a common denominator. In episode 4 of this entire 12-part series, I saw the shade room being tagged often, right? You see the shade room being tagged often.
Absolutely.
But not just 1 or 2 times. I mean, probably 12, 1,300 times. That's a lot of tags to miss. So when I did a little bit of research into the Shade Room, and then I found that the majority of their employees are from the Potter's house, and then I found out that they have a production company. Then I find out one of their sons is over the head of the Shade Room teens account. And I'm just like, I'm starting to see a pattern here. I'm starting to see a cover up, right? If you have a very large Black social media news site in your back pocket, it's less likely that they would produce content about you that's negative.
Shady.
So
I mean, when Kurt Franklin's son put that audio out, I mean, the Shade Room was all over it. Maybe because Kurt Franklin's not a member of the Potter House, and according to Kurt Franklin's son, he and TD Jakes ain't been the same since God knows when. I'm just here to report the news, Stephanie. I'm a nosy bystander, but I don't want no smoke with nobody.
Neither do I.
What else can you tell us from all of the findings within this 12-part series?
Well, the last part of the series, we're talking about using coercion and duress to take guardianship of a child, allegedly, right? We have to sprinkle that on everything. And then subsequently having the mother deported so she couldn't be able to fight.
Yeah.
That's a big claim. And that most certainly, I mean, when I heard it, I mean, I'm on the phone and I'm like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. And the person who I spoke with lined out so many perfect details. They all fit. And I'm like, wow. So if this is what they're doing, then that's even more.
Child.
Given all that we know that's being alleged right now, and I'm from the facts, we know that Sarah Jakes, she was a teen mom, so she was having sex and she was pregnant way early, and probably the same for Cora, but we don't know those details, or at least I don't. Right. Do you think somewhere in their family tree, they're like, why do you think that Cora may be doing what she's doing allegedly? Is it because she can't have kids? Do you think that something happened where she can't have kids, or she may be a little envious and jealous of Sarah? What do you think it is that's pushing Cora allegedly to the limit of deceit and literally and physically and figuratively taking kids from their parents? Allegedly.
So I have a lot of speculations. One, I think it's a bit of layers, right? In my personal opinion, based off of the accounts that I've taken from individuals who are close to the Jakes and who still work at the church, allegedly it seems as though she could be suffering from two things, some sort of mental incapabilities, as well as developmentally mental incapabilities, as well as just being the product of a preacher's child, right? Yeah. So you have that separation where children will seem to revert back to their childlike state in order to feel safe, and when you couple that on top of developmentally disabilities, it could lead to this obsession with specific things, right? I.e. Cora with baby dolls. And so it could make her, so it could make her feel like safe, right? I'm not a clinical psychologist and I don't pretend to be one, but she could be using that as a way to feel safe, and maybe it could be due to stress. And so reverting to being around baby dolls could be something for her. The second thing that I probably would suspect is that it doesn't help that she's disgustingly wealthy, right? So when you're disgustingly wealthy and you have no barriers as to what you can do, right? There's no bounds to what you can do. You can just kind of get away with anything. And that includes having these very large doll collections, having a slew of people in your home that you're quote unquote helping, but in turn you're trying to siphon off their children. And so there's nobody in charge, right? The monkeys have the key, if you will.
I'm screaming to the top of my lungs. I mean, listen, again, I followed the entire series, and the baby dolls kind of threw me off. The tweets when she allegedly named the babies before she even had them in her possession. All of those things are like key factors where someone should have said, okay, Cora Jean, let's talk about this. Like, what is really going on? So let the people know how they can see your 12-part series. And will there be more? Is there more that we will be finding out in the near future, Stephanie?
Yes. So I do have 2 interviews coming up with two very, very key players in this entire story, which I would love for them to be the key players that kind of wrap this up so we can move on to Wendy Williams. And apparently Tyler Perry has a child from 2014, right? So we can move on to other stories.
Yes.
Yeah, there will be more series. You can catch me at Stephanie Hall on TikTok or the Nosy Bystanders on YouTube. And then you can just kind of catch the series on either place.
Well, thank you for listening to that incredible interview. Thank you. And shout out to Antoine, just being an incredible interviewer. Like, again, being a storyteller is one thing, but being able to have the skills to know how to ask decisive questions is a whole nother fucking skill. Antoine, I saw you in the building. Hello. That's a whole nother skill in and of itself. And so I really appreciate him for reaching out to me and letting me have the graciousness to sit down and do an interview with him. I was very happy about it. And I just think he's incredible. He's incredible. The Nosy Bystanders are credible. I don't know what Antoine calls what do you call your people, Antoine? The Antoinettes or something. They're awesome too. And so I really appreciate that. And just being able to get this story some legs. You know, Michelle put in a lot of work into this story, and I appreciate everybody reaching out to her and me and just trying to get the word out. Get the word out. Get the word out, child. Is that what y'all be saying? Get the word out, child. Speaking of word, we have a word from our sponsors. Speaking of word, and don't y'all leave. Don't just scroll now because we have more to this story. We got another story I want to get into, which is kind of the main event for our series tonight. But we do have a paid sponsorship, and y'all got to listen. Now, don't be ghetto. Y'all got to listen. And this is a good one. And I really hope that you support all of these businesses who've reached out to me, who've paid for ads to be able to get their businesses some legs and some traction. Consider it. They're all Black owned businesses. Let's just keep the money flowing in between ourselves. Okay. Let's keep the money flowing in between ourselves. We already do it anyway. So this ad is brought to you by, actually two people, and it's such an unusual dynamic, but the ad is brought to you by two people. The first person being Tori, and the second individual being her aunt, who goes by the name the Lioness Queen here on TikTok. So please, for the love of God, follow the Lioness Queen here on TikTok. So Tori is a teenager living with cystic fibrosis, a genetic respiratory and digestive disorder, anxiety, and depression. As a child, her mother tried to build her self-esteem by introducing her to the concept of affirmations. Tori's mom explained the affirmation she gave her and what it meant in Tori's life. One day, Tori's mom actually came home and saw her writing something on her arm. What was on her arm was actual affirmations that Tori was writing to herself. The first being, bye, CF, forever, no more disease, no more goodbye. This was the beginning of Tori writing and publishing her own book of affirmations and actually having them published this week. So I went ahead and put a link into my bio where you can actually get a copy of Tori's book of affirmations. They are called I Am Victorious. Check them out and give a shout out to her aunt who paid for this ad for her niece. We love that. We love that for them. We love that for them. Okay. We love a auntie who gonna be there for you. So check out her book. It's a book of affirmations. There's a link in my bio. You can go directly to her website. Purchase the book. Purchase the book for some little girls or little boys in your life, or some little they thems. We love the they thems because they're so sweet. The book is $10. So support a Black owned author, right? That's what we need. We need a Black owned author. Okay. Now let me get to some of your questions. Any questions before we move on to the story, the final story of the evening? And the final story of the evening, where I'm going to have some of my co-hosts help me finish out the show. Okay. So get a little bit more structure in here. All right. Get a little more structure. But again, we won't finish the show out till we finish our ads because they're paid for. So the next story that I wanted to bring to you guys today actually was a part of a interview that I had did with an anonymous source. I'm waiting on a follow-up interview from this source. So all the details that I'm sharing with you, again, are anonymous, but they Okay. So, and I wanted to go over some of the details of this story. So in that Antoine 360 interview, we talked about obviously the main event, right? Cora, and how she seems to continuously just get access to these babies. Now, if you don't remember, let me jog your memory. If you don't remember, let me jog your memory. In the series, if you haven't watched it, or if you watched it a few times, or if you sent it to your auntie, so why do people feel obligated to see someone's child? I don't know where that reference comes from. Are you completing your Whitney Houston series? It's on YouTube. Go to the Nosy Bystanders on YouTube, and it's there. You can watch it right now. So we talked about a number of children, right? There's a lot of them that had no names that I couldn't find names to. Some of them had images, no names. Some of them had names, no images. Again, all of this is locally sourced on Cora's Twitter page. Yes, it's water. All of this is sourced on Cora's Twitter page. Like JJ. JoJo. Yes. Like JoJo. So there was a baby named JoJo that Cora talked about extensively on her Twitter page. I can't remember what part of the series that we mentioned baby JoJo. So forgive me. But it's in the 12-part series. Thank you, Doja. How you doing, babe? I love her. Love Doja. Go follow Doja. She's a great person. She's sweet. She's got a heart of 1,000 children. So we talked about this baby JoJo. Well, I actually spoke with an individual under the condition of anonymity who has been in talks and continuous talks with JoJo's mother. And the accounts of how their situation came to be. So according to this anonymous source, JoJo's mother was, again, take a wild guess as to how she ended up in the hands of Cora. Duress. Anytime that it seems as though the pattern of anytime anybody is in need or needs a helping hand, somehow they fall into the clutches of Cora Jakes Coleman and they can't escape it. It's like quicksand. Well, so was JoJo's mother. And after speaking with this anonymous source who spoke to JoJo's mom, it's being alleged that this individual, because of the events that occurred in and around her presence with Cora Jakes, she has been taking antidepressants ever since. Now, mind you, that was as early as 2012. So imagine having to deal with the stress of that. And so what I'm going to do today is I am going to line up the events around how Cora Jakes acquired JoJo. So you can get an idea of the nature of what was going on in that woman's house. I promise you it wasn't good. So, according to the anonymous source that I spoke to, again, Cora met JoJo's mom. Now, I'm not entirely sure where they met, and more than likely it could be, again, it's always with proximity. So it could be through the church, it could be through a family or friend, could be through high school acquaintances. I didn't ask that much because it didn't matter. But JoJo's mother stayed with Cora. There is a series of tweets from 2012 to 2013 where Cora Jakes actually had JoJo, and there's a number of tweets where she discussed the nature of her relationship with him. So we know that he was in that home. That's not from me. That's from Cora. Cora puts out a tweet and states that she might be losing JoJo. So it sounded like she was in duress. To hear the other side of the story is quite compelling because, according to JoJo's own mother, she felt as though she needed to get out of the house, but she felt as though she was under so much duress that she couldn't. Luckily, JoJo's family weren't having it. So according to his mother, they basically staged a takeover. A number of individuals from JoJo's family came to Cora's house and forced JoJo and his mother out of the home because they felt as though something was occurring where their loved one would not be able to get out. Now, what is the nature of that? I don't quite know. And the severity behind it had to have been big because they were able to leave the home. According to his mother, she felt as though if her family had not waged a hostile takeover to get her out of that house, she might have lost JoJo to Cora. Based off of the tweets that I was able to find prior to speaking with this individual, it's very true. Cora was very shooken up about losing him. And so whatever plan of attack she had, she couldn't complete, if you will. After speaking to this individual, it's very clear that I don't know what we're dealing with. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't know what we're dealing with. I don't know what kind of beast this is. But it's scary. You know what I mean? After I heard that story about JoJo, it's scary. If it took the feat of strength to rescue a woman, to quote unquote rescue a woman, right, and her baby from this home, at what level of duress is this woman putting women under? It's wild. It's wild. It's wild. Let me get to the comment section before we go to our next commercial break. I know they're like so grappling. Let me get to the comment section. This is from Vicky. Can they charge if these people come forward? I mean, this turns my stomach. I'm not a prosecutor or a police officer, Vicky, so I could not answer that. This is from Real Time. This is going to be a good Lifetime movie. Wait, let's put this on a big screen. Child. This is from Motor 1965. Why don't she just get a surrogate mother for her? I don't know. That's a great question. Let me get over here to the voices out. Let's see what everyone has to say. This is from Eamon. She just ain't tried to take the wrong baby yet. Well, she did twice. Jason and Bianca. Child. It's a lot. It's a lot, y'all. It's a lot. Imagine having to hear it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel for these women. It's just like, I feel for them. You know, the entire situation is a kerfuffle. We have another ad. Let me read this ad from our sponsors, and we're going to go over to the Leam app, and I'm going to get a co-host on stage. Now, this time, I'm trying to get a little bit more structure behind these co-hosts, so I just want to be able to have one co-host on at a time so I can hear from them completely, okay? I heard y'all messages. I got the messages, okay? I got the messages. And also, too, I would like to announce that I am currently, as of right now, taking applications for co-hosts. A permanent co-host, one co-host. So I would like to have one stationary co-host with me. Don't get me wrong, I love doing this show by myself, but you always need the help of individual opinions. There is no person who is an island. I know how much y'all love listening to me talk and gab, but you always want a differing of opinion so you can have a full perspective. That's what research teaches us. Okay. Now let's get to this ad. This ad is brought to you by Style Improve Inc. Are you a stylist tired of taking your time threading C-shaped needles before you do a sew-in? Are you? Are you tired? Are you tired of threading needles before you do a C-shaped needle before you do a sew-in? I've had a sew-in one time. It was terrible. It was terrible. She was a terrible stylist. I get one now. Now everybody can do a sew-in. But I would hope that she had a C-shaped needle so I can get in and out. And a pre-threaded needle. Well, your prayers have been answered. Check out Kenya's website, quicksewinginc.myshopify.com. If you can't remember that, there's a link in my link tree. Kenya sells pre-threaded C-shaped sewing needles, both large and small. Okay. Patent pending, Black owned, and affordable. Okay. I'm not here to toot Kenya's horn, but she sounds like she knows a thing or two about a thing or two. Specifically, C-shaped needles. Thank you again for Kenya and Style Improve. And let's continue this show. Okay. Great sponsor. Love her. Love her. Love all my sponsors, actually. They're very sweet people. Says the laugh before the ad. Got to hear the ad. Thank you. Thank you, Sherry. Got to hear the ad. Let me get a co-host real quick on the stage. Talk about some of the details of this case. What app? The Leam app. We got Auntie Brenda in the building. Hello, Brenda. She might be gone. Her hand has been up for quite some time. Hello, Bernicia. I keep saying your government name, and I know you don't want me to use it.
Well, we're not really talking about you know who today, so not really.
Yeah.
So you can use my name.
Oh, that's okay. And did you want to add anything to this story today?
I really want to talk about what's the guy and Beyonce.
Saucy Santana.
Yeah, I was looking at his biography, and it said he didn't come to the scene till 2020. Those tweets was in 2014.
Yes, that's right.
Why are they trying to hold him accountable for tweets he made in 2014?
Well, that's a great question, Brenda. I don't know. It's just kind of the nature of the beast when it comes to Twitter. If you have something worth digging up, well, people are going to dig it up. And your tweets are the first place to go because Twitter is such an old app. We know that a lot of people who are currently adults now have probably been using that app since they were 10 years old, saying a whole bunch of dumb stuff. And according to Saucy Santana, he was 21 years old, broke, and felt like he just wanted to be funny on the internet.
Well, and that's something, you know. I always say, what's in my past, what I am now is what you need to judge me on. If you're gonna judge me,
yes,
right? Because in my past, baby, I used to do some crazy shit. So if this is why I will never run for office. You hear me?
Yeah.
Because I'm crazy shit.
So let me hold on real quick, Brenda. Let me catch everybody up to speed. So at the top of the show, because our show starts at 5:00 Pacific every night. So we started about an hour ago. We were discussing tweets that Saucy Santana had drug up from 2014, where he said salacious and ignorant things about Blue Ivy. Now, mind you, back in 2014, Blue Ivy was probably you could fit her in your whole hand. She was a tiny baby. That is what we're discussing. Saucy Santana's tweet stated, and I quote, Blue Ivy's hair is nappy, quote, end quote. The second tweet that he stated was that Blue Ivy doesn't hold a candle to Northwest. and I quote, Blue Ivy should take several car seats. So those are the tweets we're discussing from 2014. I hope you guys are all caught up to speed. Brenda.
And now I do understand, but if it would have, I don't understand. It don't make sense to me. But I do understand. You don't talk about people's children.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a mother, and baby, I don't care. What's that song on TikTok?
Uh-huh.
Try Jesus, not me. Because baby, I throw hands, feet, I headbutt you. I don't care. Don't come for my grandbabies, you know.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
if you had, what, it's 14, you did that 10, 15 years ago?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, right now, then we have a problem.
Yeah.
I just childish. I do. And this Cora thing, I told you, baby, it was bigger than we knew.
Yeah. You're right. No, you're right. You're absolutely correct.
Girl,
You're absolutely.
They crazy.
Now let me ask you a question, Brenda. Because I think I vaguely remember you stating that you were going to have a conversation with an individual by the name of Jermaine Jakes. Did you ever talk to him?
Oh, you just gonna put it out there like that, huh?
Well, I was curious because he has not been on Twitter in a number of days, and you said that he sounded like he seemed a little concerned. Is he okay?
He didn't. I think they sent him away because I ain't been able to contact him, and nobody has seen him at church.
Yeah, he's not.
I think they sent him away.
Away? Why do you think they would send him away? For what? He didn't do nothing.
Okay, y'all. Again, my disclaimer. This is her side. He came in fussing, supposed to be fussing, and his daddy, we know who his daddy is, cussed him and told him to get his ass in there and sit down. He'd talk to him in a minute. So, and then he turned around and told everybody, we are all, it said, we have all sinned and whatever. But ever since this came out, Jermaine has been, you know, because it used to be Jermaine. He is the embarrassment of the family, right? But now here's come Cora, and he's like, you know, what you gonna do about it now? What you gonna do about that? Look what you used to do to me, you know? And but can't nobody get in touch with him now.
Now okay. So the other day, somebody sent me a tweet from him, from Jermaine Jakes.
Okay.
And the tweet, I'm gonna read y'all the tweet. Because just hold your britches, Brenda. Hold your britches, because now something is
making sense.
No, something's making sense, but something's not making sense. Does that make sense? Now let me pull it up really quickly. Because now I'm concerned. So okay. Whew. Okay. I'm perturbed, as they say. I'm perturbed. So Jermaine Jakes sends out a tweet. He says, losing someone that had my back at any cost and its time is one of the heart-wrenching feelings possible. I think he said it is the worst or the most heart-wrenching feeling is possible, like the worst feeling possible. He goes on and says, love people right now because you never know when you will lose the chance to say how much they mean to you. I'm hurting extremely bad. And worst of all is I don't get to hug him. Jermaine goes on and says, this hurts me to my core. Never got to say anything to him. The pain is on real-ish matters. Never will say goodbye. This is some bullshit. Now that is from Jermaine Jakes. Are we following along? Okay. Now, hear this. That tweet was sent on May 4th.
What?
It was sent on the day Brandon was incarcerated. And now we can't find Jermaine?
We can't. I'm sure they know where yet. Did you know that they? No, again, disclaimer. This is hearsay from someone at the camp. Okay. Disclaimer. Did you know that? Well, you might know. Did you know they said Brendan was bisexual?
No, I didn't know that.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I hate to speculate, and I really hate to do this to you guys, but I really hate using my audience to bounce ideas off of. But I'm gonna need y'all help on this one because I cannot figure it out. Like,
But I can't get him. He usually was sent. I got 3 phones, right? I got my home phone, I got my business phone, and I got my regular phone, the one. He usually calls me on my business phone all the time. He'll call me, right? Or he'll text me. Well, not all the time. I ain't gonna say we like that. We don't hang like that. But since this Cora thing, he was like, "What have you heard?" See, I knew he was gonna come back and stuff like that, right? I would just tell me. He was like, "No," because if I tell you, if you speak of it, they'll know exactly where it came from because it's things that no one else would know.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've been calling him since Wednesday. Nothing. The person that's in the camp, I asked them, have they seen it? They said, ever since that outburst, nobody's seen it.
Damn.
They trying to make sure don't nobody get to him. That's all. That is all that is. They don't want him saying anything.
Yeah.
And they probably said, baby, let's go on to Paris. Go on. Take the jet and go on to Paris.
Yeah.
They want to go there anyway. Yeah. That's all that is.
Well, we got another sponsor. Good golly almighty. We got another sponsor. Interesting. Not the sponsor. The sponsor is fantastic, but the story, the way it comes together, is interesting.
I know, but I didn't know about that tweet.
Yeah, I didn't know either. I would have never known to pay attention to any of the other kids. I would have never known to pay attention to any of the other kids. It just so happened to come. But thank you again, Bernicia. Thank you again, Bernicia, for your commentary. It was very much needed. You have my cell phone number. Please make sure you call me. Let me get to this sponsored ad, okay? Now, this ad, you listening? This ad is brought to you by Super Investors. Super Investors is a financial literacy game company that promotes and encourages families to interact with their children about finances through fun and play. At what age do you think your parents should initiate financial literacy? If you ask me, 5, right? They can talk back. They can say yes and no. Super Investors' goal is to bring awareness to families, especially, in the inner city, of how to teach children about saving, investing, managing their inheritances, and building businesses and more. Super Investors is a great sponsor here for the Nosy Bystanders live show, and I encourage you to go check out their website. There is a link in my link tree. Okay, it's like a tiny little kid boot camp, and who wouldn't want their kids and themselves as an adult to know a little bit more about financial literacy? Thank you again to Valencia at Super Investors, and please check her out. Okay, check out Valencia. She's great. She's great. You guys are great. Was Jermaine at Shawnee's wedding? Now that's interesting because I want to get to some of your comments since the show is wrapping up. Was Jermaine at Shawnee's wedding? I don't know. Probably. Hello, Ava. How are you doing? Sweatshirts? What sweatshirts? You mean these shirts? These aren't for sale. Let me get to some of the questions. Somebody over here on YouTube said, we ought to go to hell. Don't think we missed your comment there, my good friend. Don't think we missed your comment there. Okay. I'm sure my moderator deleted it, but we aren't going to hell. Not without TD Jakes. Let me get some of your other comments. I want to get some comments here on the Leam app. I see the Leam app is going, and I want to hear from all of you. This is from Kim. She says, see, Jermaine was about to tell all the business, and they had to send him off. I couldn't agree with you more. This is from The Real Renway, says he's on a mission. All right. What mission that is? Beats the hell out of me. Wu Chow said, drop the SteamYard link. We don't use SteamYard. Wu Chow, we actually use the Leam app. And so I will send you the link right now. Give me 1 second. Okay. Let's see if I can paste it in here. Sometimes I can't. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. All right, here you go. There you go. Wu Child is my moderator on YouTube. The link is right there. Go ahead and click on that, download that, and jump right in. We're the Nosy Bystanders. We are live, so you'll be able to jump right into that room. Anybody who ever wants to join as a co-host or just jump on stage and have something to say, the link is right there. Everyone here on TikTok, the link is in my link tree. It says Leam, formerly Voices app. You can download that link anytime you have something you want to say, honey. We don't take guests here on TikTok. We only take guests on the Leam app, okay? It's just to keep everything a little bit cohesive and easy. Hello, Kenya. How are you? I love how you just jumped on stage. Hello, Kenya.
Hello, Kenya. I love how you just jumped on stage.
How'd you get up here? I just turned around. I was like, because I could hear the thing. It goes, bing. And I said, who's on stage? I thought it was Brenda. Hello, Kenya. How are you? Hello, Phyllis. How are you? Everyone, what's going on? Did you guys have any commentary you wanted to add while we wrap the show up? Hello? Did you guys have, Kenya, Phyllis, did you have any commentary you wanted to add to the show before we wrap up?
Oh, no, I did not.
Okay.
No, I just jumped in from YouTube.
I did too. I wanted to try it.
Oh, then it works. That's so dope. Okay, then it works. All right. Yeah. Anytime you want to jump over to the Voices app, I will ask Wu Child. That's her name. Don't ask me how she chose it. Okay. Don't ask me how Wu Chow chose her name, okay? But Wu Chow, please save that link and pin it to the top of the chat box here on YouTube, okay? So now they shy. Of course they are Brooklyn, and that's okay. That's okay. Well, we are wrapping up the show, and I appreciate you, Kenya and Phyllis, for jumping in. And you don't have any other commentary, that's okay. We still love you anyway. You guys follow us at the Nosy Bystanders on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. Send your nosy tips in. And we look forward to hearing from you guys any other time. Now we just got Wu Chow on the stage. So I'm going to go ahead and listen to Wu Chow. Hello, Wu Chow.
Can you hear me?
Yes. It's nice to meet you.
I just yes.
Now, first of all, hold on, Wu Chow. Let me preface this real quick. You guys, Wu Chow has been my moderator on YouTube since June 6th. I've never actually formally met her. I didn't even know what their gender was. But it's nice to meet you, Wu Chow. And I appreciate all the
You
hard work
too.
you've been doing.
I try. I just want to tell you congratulations on hitting 8K.
Thank you. Oh, I did? Thank you. Oh, heaven.
Yes, congratulations, girl.
Wow, that's a big feat. I
You
didn't
are
even
killing
know.
it on these YouTube streets. You have hit YouTube and taken it by storm.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Keep going. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep putting out this good content, and your channel is going to continue to grow.
Thank you, Wu Chow. I appreciate that. Wu Chow. Everybody in the building said, hello, Wu Chow.
Hey, Nosy Bystanders. I love all y'all.
Well, they appreciate all the hard work you do. You really do.
Does not hit links, but I felt like you needed to get your flowers.
So she don't hit licks.
I do not hit links. I do not. I leave it for the content creators.
Do you know that Future actually has a song called I Hit Licks for a Living? It's one of my favorite songs. It's funny that you said that. But thank you again, Wu Chow. And thank you again for everybody on the Leam app and YouTube and here on TikTok. I appreciate you guys. You guys are great. You're wonderful. Thank you for being in the building. Thank you. We will see you tomorrow, 5 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. We have a live show every day. More tea, more drama, more sponsored ads. And if you do have a business and you want your ad to be reached by a larger audience, we do host an audience of roughly across all apps, about 1,000 people. And so if you want a sponsored ad, reach us on the Nosy Bystanders on Instagram or Twitter. Our DMs are open and we will create a brand new ad for you. Okay. Thank you guys. Have a good night. I appreciate all of you being here in the building. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye. I always do YouTube blast. Bye.